Hi, welcome to the Perfectly Wasted podcast. I'm the host, DullOxide. This is episode 8 about fitness and diet. You could find all of my previous episodes on the Drinking Wise Men YouTube channel, as well as my bi-weekly podcast, Brew the Truth. And you could find all of the podcasts of Perfectly Wasted on pretty much any podcast platform. Just search Perfectly Wasted or Drinking Wise Men, all of them come up. So today we're going to be talking about fitness and diet. And the very first thing you have to understand about fitness and diet is that a lot of people get things wrong. Everyone is always on a diet, okay? Always. It doesn't matter if you're watching what you're eating or not. That's your diet, okay? And the reason that we're going to talk about this is because some people have asked me, based on my last cosplay and my figure, which you can't really tell I'm in decent shape, but it doesn't, like, obviously a t-shirt doesn't make me look great. So if you look on my my Instagram at DullOxide, and if you look at my cosplay episode, you'll be able to see some pictures of me when I was in better shape. And right now I'm trying to bulk up a little bit more so I can be more a little bit bigger for future cosplays. So that being said, people have asked me based on that, hey, what did you do? How did you get there? What was your diet? How much did you work out? Things like that. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to bring up something that a lot of people look at that they believe in quite a lot. And that's this bullshit chart right here. So body mass index chart. It's complete crap. It's based on just mathematics that are really old. It hasn't been updated to my knowledge, but based on this chart, I'm overweight. Most people are overweight or underweight. If you're inside of like that healthy zone, then, that's just completely fucking random, because just by looking at the chart, you can tell that the numbers are completely bogus. All it does is take your height and then basically divvy up your mass from there. Like, it's your height to your weight is whether or not you're healthy. That makes no fucking sense. So for some people, this might be accurate and might be a good measure, but for the majority of us, it means crap. So if you're referring to a chart like this, that's probably your first problem. Just throw that chart away. Get completely rid of it. Now, what I'm going to say is that I've got this other spreadsheet here that I actually didn't create. I found on the web. And what it does is it does the calculations for you to find out what your caloric intake should be for a week or for a day. And so it breaks it all down for you. You put in some numbers. It does the calculations. You don't have to worry about too much. It's pretty simple. I'll go ahead and I'll link it inside the description if you guys want to check it out. Might not work for everyone. I found it worked for me. This is entirely what I based my diet and fitness on when I lost my weight and got into shape. I lost about 35 pounds, and that was over like a 6-month period or so, and I got in really decent shape. And the majority of that is diet. 90% of that is going to be following your diet. So the diet comes from here. That's all there is to it. And what I would say is that if you need to, do the math yourself. You could figure it out. It's not super difficult. I mean, all you need to really do is find out what your lean body mass is and then deduct what your caloric intake needs to be. But like I said, this does that for me. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through how to use this. So right off the bat here, it works a little backwards. You go from body type, then you go to stats, and then you'll be able to see your nutrition and your refeed day information. Now, refeed day is kind of like a wacky day that you do once every 7 days to reboot your system. I'll show you the numbers. I don't actually do them because I find them to be kind of difficult, but I'll show you them anyways. So first off to start, obviously I'm male. I went ahead and I selected low fat allowance just because that's what I want to do. The difference in percentage of fat allowance is going to be, just slightly different. So mid gives you an extra 3%, and high gives you an extra 3%. And for men and women, it's different. So I'm going to go back to low. We're going to be at 17. And I've plugged in some numbers here for refeed day just to have them. And I'm going to put it at a caloric deficit of 200, because how do you lose weight? You lose weight by a caloric deficit. That doesn't mean starve yourself. It means give yourself a slight deficit so that you can start to lose weight, because your body is going to be continuously using these calories through the day to give you energy. If you starve yourself, you have no energy. That doesn't work. You can't do anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move on to the stats page next. So, all right, now we're looking at the stats page. I've obviously left the name blank. It doesn't really matter. This is my actual weight right now, 172 pounds. My body fat percentage is 14%. And a lot of people are probably like, 14%? That sounds really fucking good. I just take a guess that most people are probably around 20 or higher. That's not necessarily bad, but I mean, when I was cosplaying as Zoro, I think at like 8, and that's when you really start to see your muscle and your vascularity and things like that. And I have a scale that does my body fat percentage. You could also go to pretty much any grocery store these days does body fat percentage. This is something you really need to know for this. You only need to really update it maybe once every week or 2 weeks and retry and plug in numbers and see what you might need to change. If you plateau, I would definitely suggest reweighing yourself and find out if you can get a little bit higher deficit, because once you plateau, you obviously have to change something, because if everything else is the same, nothing will ever change. So as you can see here, by plugging that information in, I have my caloric maintenance, and then I have my caloric intake, and the deficit is 200, which is what I set it to. As you scroll over to the right, it shows you a little bit more information on your proteins and your fats, your carbs, and so forth. All right, so it's pretty simple, pretty basic. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to nutrition here, and this is gonna be like what my daily diet's gonna look like. So my daily diet is gonna be 1613. So that's 1,613 calories, and that sounds great, right? So that doesn't sound like it's going to get me a lot of food, but I can tell you based on what I have pretty full meals, and I found ways to actually get these numbers within 1 gram, which is what is happening right here. Is these are grams, is what this is all measured in. So 42% of my diet's protein, 169 grams, 41% of it's carbs at 165 grams, and 17% of it at 30 grams is fat. So there's a couple of rules that I followed that helped me lose more weight, and I'm going to tell them to you now. So never mix your fat and your carbs. If you have to mix the two of them, try and keep it within 1 to 5 grams per that meal. Okay, and the reason is because you need your carbs for your energy. So the majority of your carbs are going to be taken in at the beginning of the day for you and at the middle of the day. I don't care if you do 3 meals, I don't care if you do 5 meals, I don't care if you do 7 meals. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is that in order to operate, you need carbs for energy. So what you're going to do, or what I do, what I would suggest is go ahead and I break it up into 3 meals because it's easy. I personally do this. I do my carbs and protein in the morning. I do my carbs and protein at lunch. And I do protein and fat for dinner. And I just write up my diet plan by going into MyFitnessPal and literally putting stuff in until it matches. And then I literally take whatever matches and do that every single day. So that means that for like months and months, because I'm pretty lazy, for months and months I had the same food every single day, which consisted for breakfast I had a bagel with a protein shake, and then for lunch I had a turkey sandwich with a protein shake, and then for dinner I had chicken, eggs, and cheese. You don't have to have cheese. You can get fats from other places like almonds, things like that. I happen to like cheese. It's probably not the healthiest, but I did enjoy it. So that's kind of what I did and how it worked. And like I said, you could see the results. Just look at my my Instagram. I was in pretty good shape. So this is what worked for me, is the diet. And now, that being said, about 90% of it is diet. What's the other 10%? It's your activity. All right, but people like, oh, activity, I don't want to do anything. Okay, cool, you don't want to do anything, but I'm going to tell you, it doesn't take much. And you're probably like, oh, well, yeah, not much. What's not much, like 10 hours a week? No, actually, it's like 2 hours a week. And even if you wanted to be a little bit more on that, it's like 4 hours a week. And you could even do more. But what I do is I work out about twice a week is what I started with, and got comfortable with my weights and my lifting. And then I started going up to 4 times a week, doing different muscle groups and things to that effect. So about 2 months, I did 2 times a week. And I only work out for like an hour total. That's including cardio. All right, so for an hour total, including cardio. And then I switched up to 4 times a week for an hour total, including cardio. So the most I'm doing is like an hour and 30 minutes daily, and that's including like driving to wherever I'm going for the most part. And I lost like 35 pounds and got in really good shape. Why is that? Because you're doing more than you were doing before. Any amount of work that you do is going to burn more calories than you sitting on your ass doing nothing. So Whether that means that you go out and you take a walk for an extra hour a day, which, I mean, obviously you're not going to burn a ton of calories doing that. I'd suggest some weightlifting. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do. Wait, what? You don't have access to a weight room? Well, I mean, then you're screwed. Not true. Go on Amazon, buy some resistance bands for like 20 bucks. You can get a whole set and you can just use resistance. Or you can use your body weight. Do sit-ups, do push-ups, go out for a jog, go swimming. You know, there's a ton of different things that you could do that don't cost any money that you could just go through and make a little routine. You know, do 20 minutes of push-ups and sit-ups, pull-ups, things like that, and then go out for a run. Do that twice a week, follow your diet, you're going to lose weight. That's all there is to it. It's pretty simple. So that was what I did. That was how I did it. The results worked for me. I'd really like to hear if anyone wants to try this. If they do try it and you're having any trouble with the spreadsheet, go ahead and shoot me a message. Maybe I can help. I can give you some suggestions for some at-home workouts that you could do, things to that effect. So please go ahead and give it a try. Let me know what your results are. If you think that something I said is bullshit, please comment. That's fine. I'm always willing to learn and look into things more. Again, this is something that worked for me. Doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. So that was episode 8 about fitness and diet. Feel free to ask me any other questions. Like, subscribe, comment, share, please. That was 10 minutes perfectly wasted. Thanks for joining me.